Hey guys, it's David Berry again, and today I'm joined by my trusty companion, Carlos Salazar. Say what's up, Carlos?
What's up? How you doing, my boss?
Well, I'm doing good, and let's jump right into it. We've been getting a lot of people that have asking more information about becoming an insurance agent or what have you. And so, you know what? I just want to just jump right in and talk about today's topic because we don't know what you want. Most of you want to either become a life and health agent or, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people want to sell auto insurance. Is that what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, now this is my thinking. The reason they want to go in auto insurance
Uh-huh.
is because you have to have it. State
Yeah.
law requires you to have it. You
Yeah.
know,
And
and
so
if you look at all the cars going by, you're seeing dollar signs. They gotta have insurance. They gotta have insurance. You know, but there's some pros and cons to all that.
So we'll talk about that today. Let's talk about in today's video property and casualty or life and health insurance. Which one is better? You're a new agent, you're trying to figure out where to get started, which one to do next, or which one to do for your first license. So you see all of the car insurance guys out there, see the property and casualty guys. I have a property casualty license and I have a life and health license. And Carlos, correct me if I'm
Like,
wrong, you have both of them as well.
like what general lines license?
So yep, so we both have those licenses. So we're gonna just talk about kind of the pros and cons of which one. And if I were a new agent, where would I start? Just knowing what I know now. So, but before we do that, we're gonna let's throw out a couple shout outs. Have we done our shout outs yet?
No,
Let's do our
let's
shout
do shout
outs.
outs.
Carlos, let's give me some shout outs to the people that reached out to you that you talked to this week.
Well, I've only reached out to one with Isabel and Chelsea and Jesus, aka Jesse. We still need to contact them.
So Isabel, Chelsea, and Jesus, thanks for reaching out. TexasInsurancePro.com. Hope we can answer your questions for you about becoming an insurance agent. We're going to answer a lot of questions tonight. So, been a couple announcements. If you're already licensed, next month is Life Insurance Awareness Month. I've had a lot of people. I've lost some people lately, and it's really important that if you are a life insurance person, that you make sure that you're not a secret agent out there, and you're telling people what you do and explaining the importance of the product of having proper good life insurance portfolio because it's not for you, it's for your family. So life insurance awareness month is coming up next month. That doesn't mean that that's the only time you buy it, but then you have in October open enrollment for 65 plus. You're with 65 plus senior health insurance, and to try to keep from getting into any problems with the government, I won't use the name Medicare, but it is open enrollment, and you should contact an agent near you about if you're interested in Medicare supplement or any other products, any other Medicare health plans or MSAs out there. No one is going to call you, but you must make the phone call yourself to a local agent. Okay, so any case, that's the announcements, shout outs. Carlos, let's jump right into it. PNC versus life and health. You want me to start, or let's just talk about let's just start with startup costs. Tell me what it costs, in your opinion, to get a PNC license.
The startup costs. I mean, you have to get your course. Either go through Kaplan online, and then your test. You have to schedule your test, your
So how
exam.
much does the course cost? So in general, how much does the PNC course cost?
It all depends. It could be $130 to $330.
Okay, so let's say 130. Okay,
It
so
all
that's the course that helps you pass the test, right?
pass the test. Then
Okay, now you got to pass the test.
they
How
have
much is the test?
what was
How
that?
much is the test?
$50.
Just $50. That's the general lines license.
I'm
Okay.
going roughly estimate your fingerprint,
Uh-huh.
50.
Uh-huh.
Your application with Texas Department of Insurance,
Uh-huh.
$50.
Just 50?
Just 50.
Okay, so we're at $280 right now. That's not bad.
Not bad. Now, depending on the course that you take, the course that I took with Kaplan was a 330 because it's a 2-day course that you go to the school and you learn PNC. Because if you do it on your own, you might not even understand it unless you worked at an agency. Know what I mean?
So we know that you're going to have at least $300 in cost just taking the test. And if you pass it, you go to the class, you take the class, and you pass the first time after you've gone through that course. So
Right.
that's the minimum you can get in for is about $300. Now,
Bucks, 300 to 500 bucks.
okay, so starting there. Now, just because you got that license, now you still need a sponsoring agent,
Right. You still need to have an agency to start working.
an agent or an agency. Otherwise, you can't get the license or company to
Right.
appoint you. So if you have no experience, it's a little bit difficult. So
Comes
we
in.
recommend that you work with someone. Let's be real.
Show you the ropes.
Yeah, got to show you ropes because in PNC, one of the cons with property and casualty is that there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, you think about it. You got auto insurance, and just because the company says auto insurance doesn't mean they do home insurance. And then you got your small business insurance. You got commercial auto insurance. You got general liability.
CGL.
You got workers' comp. You have to get your errors and omission because if you don't know what you're doing, they're going to charge you more anyway. So add another $100 a month. So that's
For the E&O.
yeah.
And then plus if they add you to the Raider program, that might be a monthly fee.
So if you're an independent agent, basically what that means is if you're an independent agent, in order to quote multiple companies, you have to pay for the access to the software that allows you to quote Travelers and Progressive and Safeco and Kemper and Allstate and whatever and so forth and so forth and so on. And if you don't have that software, which for me, I think it's between $75 and $100 a month per user.
You know what else? The agency management system.
And then I hadn't gotten to that yet. Yeah. But then there's also a license for my agency management system. So they're a couple $100 a month right there per user, depending upon how big you want your agency to be. So if you're an independent agent, it can get quite costly. It can also actually be so we're already looking at about $300 a month if you're going to try to become an independent agent. Otherwise, you ride with one carrier, and that's probably if you're a new agent, that's what I would probably suggest is starting out with one or two carriers that you don't have to pay for all of those extra costs. Learn that carrier really well.
Then don't forget if as being an independent agent, office space.
Yeah.
Office space or retail.
Yeah. And if it's retail, it's going to eat your money up. So you have to be able to sell a lot of policies. So let's talk about commissions on property and casualty.
Commissions, what, anywhere between 10 and 15%?
About 15% of the annual premium is the average agency commission. But as a new agent, you're not going to get full commission.
Right.
You're going to make 60, 70% of that. So say you end up at 10% commission per policy on average. The average auto policy is about $200 per month in the DFW Metroplex, so $2,400 a year. So at 10% commission, you're talking about $240 commission per policy. That's on the good one.
On the good one.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking standard.
And so you have to stack those $240 up, and each time and save that and run your business off of those $240 policies if you're selling just auto insurance. And so and on top of that, you have to service the policy. So if there's a problem, in exchange, you may have to make all of the policy changes or have someone make policy changes for you. So a new agent would have to live off of just a small percentage of that 240 if they didn't have a service department because they'd have to pay somebody.
Right. Then
work as a producer.
The servicing could be changing vehicles, adding a driver, deleting the driver, change of address, copy of their insurance ID. All that comes into play. Even the billing.
So yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, so if someone goes through problems and they miss a they miss one of their bills because it was Christmas, like that didn't happen, then you can expect phone calls when they get that double bill after Christmas, and you have to document it.
Yeah.
Why is my bill so much?
Well, you
You
forgot
missed it.
last month, Bill.
So they're giving you December and January plus another bill to catch up before they cancel you,
And a late fee.
and late fees for 2
And
months,
if you were canceled, there's a reinstatement fee.
and then there's a reinstatement fee. Yeah, so you have to be able to decipher that, and so that there's a lot of moving parts in property and casualty because you do in exchange for that commission, 10 or 15% commission, you're you have to take on an additional service component. So it really depends on if that's what you're looking for.
Right? Or you could resource it out, be licensed, resource it out, and get a little cut.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
They can do this, run this, and I mean, it could be a good business, but you have to think sheer volume and sheer numbers.
A lot of numbers.
A lot of numbers. Because unless you're charging fees, you're only getting this commission once a year on property and casualty side.
Now, when you're charging fees, now you're talking about the non-standard world.
Or the commercial world. Commercial that I charge fees on commercial.
You gotta know what
because I
commercial.
work really hard to get some of the commercials because they're very specialized.
Right. And that commercial, that's just a different animal.
Mm-hmm. So with all of the moving parts, I really suggest if you've never worked in an insurance agency, that property and casualty, you start out with one carrier. You start off with one concept. I would say that even on life and health. But you do that because you don't want to be in a situation where you're in the first year, everything is a new experience. You want to try to get a little repetition in your business. Otherwise, you spend the first 3 years learning just the foundational auto home products for each carrier.
Correct.
So it's real difficult to get going in that and ramping up in that because everybody sells property and casualty. And quite frankly, people shop for auto insurance when they get a higher rate. They shop for home insurance when they get a higher rate.
They'll leave you for $1.
They'll leave you for $1.
And then you
I
gotta
don't mean, hey man, it's not going to break my bank, but your policy went up $150 a year, and there's not much I can do about that. And okay, well I'm gonna go over here to this other company for $200.
You're right. It's something we have no control over.
Yeah, so as the agent, you have no control over it. You can't apologize for the rate, but that is a fact of the property and casualty world. If you lose a piece of business after you've gotten that commission, you may have a chargeback commission, and you have to deal with that and offset that with new sales. That's insurance 101.
There's chargebacks on either life and health and P&C.
Yep. So that's property and casualty. Let's talk about life and health. Carlos, you sell a lot of life insurance?
Yes, sir.
You do a lot of life insurance. So let's start with startup costs. How much does your company charge?
The agreement, looking at about $100. The study course, now check this out, around $20. 50 for the test, the same thing like PNC. The fingerprinting, $50, and your application with TDI is $50. These just estimates. Don't have
So
the
prices are the same.
huh?
Prices are the same.
What about the same? So you're looking at about 270 startup.
So $300, just rounded up, $300 to get started.
Startup. Right. Then you have to add your E&O, which is around $30 a month.
Ooh. If you join my Medicare supplement team, as long as you write business through me, I got E&O for you.
Oh, yeah, you had to plug that in.
I had to get that one in there. Okay, so it's about $300 plus you got to get E&O. Property and casualty E&O is going to be $80 to $100 a month.
Right.
Life and health is a lot cheaper. How much are you paying for E&O?
Mine's because I'm at a higher contract level. Mine's is 60 a month. But I
What?
don't feel it because it gets taken out of my commission.
Okay.
Don't even see
Okay.
it. That's just the cost of doing business. You know, you're self-employed.
Let me ask you, can I get my own E&O if I work with you?
I'm pretty sure you could.
Because I have E&O, it's a lot cheaper than that. Anyway.
We have to
Okay.
work that out.
Yeah, I got a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah.
I probably got good limits too. Okay, so we need E&O, 60 a month. So you're at 180. So you're at $60 a month. What other monthly fees and expenses do you have in that world?
That's it. That's pretty much it.
No monthly fees. Okay, so training.
Yeah,
How do you guys
there's
handle
no
training?
rater. There's no rater that you have to pay per month.
So no monthly rate or fee.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna tell you. Here's the thing about life and health. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're a new agent and you're expecting to just get a license and have business come in the door just because you get a life and health license, you got to go out and sell it. You got to go out and actually explain to people what this is that you have and how it fits them.
You gotta go market yourself. You have to go market yourself.
Exactly. So you got to get trained up. You got to learn the products and the concepts because that life insurance, especially the concepts that in which we learn to promote life insurance, are not taught. They don't. But when people understand what we know about life insurance as an agent, a well trained agent, it's like a light bulb. It's amazing to see the light bulb go off in somebody's head when you explain to them how an index universal life policy works and the benefits of getting a small policy for their child and overfunding it while they're in school, how they have choices when they're 18 versus having to struggle and figure out what it takes to pay for college or buy a house or or go on vacation, that you can fund that inside of life insurance or you can do retirement. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
But
so,
that comes along with training because your everyday person doesn't know about that, or
right.
somebody coming into the business.
Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing about that. So one of the things about training is you learn concepts, and I'm a big proponent of building blocks. And with at least with life and health, you can get started and start. It seems like you can make money a little bit faster. I'll give you comparison. With property and casualty, depending upon when I sell the policy, I don't get paid until the following month. There's no weekly pay schedule from based on my contract. There's it's everything is monthly. And so if I sell a policy on the 15th of the month, I get paid on about the 10th of the month of the next month.
Right.
On life and health, how do you get paid?
Well, with us, you get paid either Tuesday or Friday. You don't have to wait for the month.
I have some contracts with some of my carriers. I get paid. They have a weekly payout,
Yeah.
and I get paid if it goes paid and delivered by Thursday, then it gets direct deposited that same day,
Right.
or by Wednesday or something. So that's
It's a quick turnaround.
right. It's a very quick turnaround. So
You'll end up getting like 40% up front, and then once it gets issued, you get the other 60.
right now, and so that varies based on the company, based on your contract with life insurance. But there's all kinds of products out there. I mean, I've had policies where I had, I wrote for a software engineer, and it paid me a couple $1,000s commission the moment it went paid.
And
And
that's good.
Yeah, that was the 70% they paid me up front.
But
And I
you
got
didn't make that. You didn't make that at the beginning of your career.
no, I most of the policies that I sold at the beginning of my career, I'd make $200 here, $300 there.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. I mean,
At your beginning stages, you know, compare that to an auto policy.
yeah, you make auto policy, but you got to service that policy every month.
Yeah, this other one in the life policy world, you just present it, sell it, and it's done. And then you get the renewals at the end of the year.
Yeah, now the unique thing is that because you have to sell it and you have to get appointments. The way we do it, and I'm assuming that you're probably on the same page. Instead of saying that this is the lowest rate, this is the lowest rate. We have access to a lot of companies.
Right.
So what happens is it's not the lowest rate. I take your case, I design your case, and we come to a conclusion based on the needs that you provided and based on the choices that you've made. And so as an agent, I present you the solution.
Exactly. And it's all case design. Each family is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Each family's different. Each case is different. I've to this week alone, I've talked to uh, a family of four with no insurance, but they have a lot of income. But they have no life insurance. I talked to a business owner that was talking about a young business owner, 36 years old, talking about Keyman Insurance for his business continuation. Then I also talked to a company that wanted to about their scientist, their key scientist, and he's 58 years old and he's a little overweight. And so there's a solution for each one of those
right.
based on relative health, height, weight, etc.
That's why the training comes in because you don't want to, let's say he's just a little too healthy. You don't want to give him a preferred rate,
What's the wrong rate? And it's hard to give them the right rate.
And then you got to go back to your client and explain to, hey, this is what we did. And, so that's where all the training comes in.
Yep. Yep. So that's what so each case is different. Each needs analysis is different. Each dominant need is different in life insurance. So the commissions can vary based on
Based on your level.
well, for you it's based on your level. Yeah, I guess it is based on your level because I can only speak for me. How should I put it? Why don't we talk about what you do? Because mine is you can't come into business and get my contracts,
Right.
because I have top contracts with every carrier, and so that's another that new agents just don't get those. Let's talk about yours.
Well, I mean, you have to start somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you start somewhere. Once you're licensed,
So say you get $1,000 policy.
you can legally get paid.
So
Once you're
let's talk about brass tacks. The average person spends $800. Average household spends about $800 a year on life insurance, which is well underfunded. What percentage commission do your agents start out with, Carlos?
25, let's just say 30%.
So they can make $240 on that policy, and it takes them how long to write that policy?
Oh, 3 to 6 hours.
So it's $40 an hour. Y'all, and for me,
And well, then
experienced agent,
then you go to a 40% contract.
so you have tiers in your contract, 30, 40%, and so forth and so on.
Then 50%.
50%, oh goodness.
And then you go up to 65%.
65%.
So it just keeps going. It just keeps going. You got to rise.
Oh, I love those hierarchies. Oh man. I use a wholesaler on some of my advanced cases.
Uh-huh.
And let's just say there are more than that. Sometimes combined. Like when you get to the level that I'm at, You can take all of these commissions. I can add some of my carriers. I can add 40, 50, and 65 up, and you still not have enough commission on my life insurance side.
There you go.
But they don't appoint everybody.
Right.
Again, here it is again.
Here it
You
is.
got to start somewhere. You got to get the training. You got to work because at that level, nobody's holding your hand, telling you what case to present. You're calling a wholesale operation that has every insurance carrier has underwriting guidelines, has their underwriting department. They pay for paramedics. Heck, they even pay for my my express mail because I do, because the cases we do, the average case or the average premium on the cases we write there or I write there are $7,000. So
That's just a whole different plane
that's just, yeah.
level.
I'm like ordering wholesale parts.
Right.
I like this policy and that, and then I give them a form and I say, here you go, and they run their own pyramid, and then we get offer sheets back. They tell us which carriers, because they all have the same re-underwriting guidelines, same guidelines. It tells which carriers offer what rider comparison and all of that stuff. So here you go. These are the 3 carriers that you should be looking at on the planet Earth.
And they're all about the same, pretty close.
Yeah, the riders are different. Well, what I find that are different, like where you see your differences are the amounts of like the accelerated death benefits. Some of them only go up to like 50%, Some
Right.
of them go up to 90%, but then they charge you a ton. So it just really depends on how the riders kick in. Some of the like the child riders, some of the child riders only go up to 5,000 or 10,000. Then I got some that go up to 25. So that's really where the differences come in.
So you're talking about the living benefits.
All the living benefits that go along with the policy. Yeah. So and critical illness, how they're underwritten. That's stuff that we find out when I go to a wholesaler or even my brokerage. But the commissions on those, because you do so much, you have to know what you're doing. You can expect to get 75 to 100% of the first year's premium.
Commission.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a 125% contract with a couple carriers through my wholesale operation. 125, 150%. That's not odd because they have a commission and they have a street override bonus on top of the top street commission.
Right. See, that's the stuff they don't teach you.
Yeah. See, that's the stuff yeah. If you can go to a wholesaler, because the life insurance company knows how much it costs and how long those people are going to put on when you put them on.
Right.
That's how they spend all of the money to do it.
It's all in the actuaries.
Right. So you start out where you are, where you're recruiting people, and as you grow, you can grow with it on life and health side, and you don't have all the overhead of all of the raters and all of the service work. Really, you're just doing annual follow-ups. You're checking people on birthdays. You're checking people in life-changing events, in times in their lives, that kind of stuff. When they have kids, when they have school, and that kind of, when they buy a car, buy stuff, have promotions, you name it. So you really don't have as much service work. And so therefore, that's why you see a lot of the life insurance guys, it seems like they're always playing golf.
So
Health insurance, 65 plus health insurance is another place where a lot of guys play golf.
right, that's another world.
Very structured, very structured. We're going to talk about that one day because I love that world. I'm doing my AHIP certification right now. And once I'm done with that, I still won't use it, but I'll have it.
Right.
Talk about Medicare supplement one day.
Yeah, that'll be on the agenda.
Put that on a future agenda because that's a very important thing. So you don't have you have higher commissions, but you don't have as many people shopping for life insurance.
Right. I mean, it's just done deal.
Right.
I mean,
so you don't sell as many policies, but
Put it right.
you sell a couple a month.
and don't sound too salesy.
Yeah, high pressure just doesn't work in the life
No,
insurance world.
no, it's pretty. You have to be laid back. No high pressure.
Oh, absolutely,
Just
absolutely.
present the facts, and that's it.
Yeah, high pressure never works. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. No.
That's the old school.
Yeah. I've been known to call it like I see it though. It's not high pressure, but it's just very direct and to the point.
You
You're
know, I will say this, and I think we talked about this before. If you're a married couple, you're a mother and father, you have a family, it's your moral obligation
yeah.
to have life insurance.
And so as an agent,
It doesn't work. She has to have insurance because if if the wife leaves unexpectedly, who's going to take care of the kids? Who's going to pick up the kids? Who's
right.
going to feed the kids? The husband's out there working.
Yep. That's the thing about it as if you're thinking about getting into the business, you have to have good follow-up skills
Oh, absolutely.
and you have to be able to work a calendar as a life and health licensed agent because people will contact you, but they will only contact you one time. And it's imperative that you have great follow-up skills and then you become somewhat persistent when they follow up with you because the life insurance business is kind of an emotional policy as well because you're talking about death, dismemberment, all kinds of life-changing events.
And you know what? You don't have to be old to die.
No, no, I've lost several friends.
Right. I know.
Something get ill and 3 days later you die, or a bad car accident. I've seen it. So as an agent, you have to take it seriously. Don't be afraid to present it because in the end, people don't really like to shop for it, and you have to be good at presenting it and selling it. But if you are good at presenting it and selling it, you can do very well because, like we were saying, some of the nicer policies that I write are two, three, four, $5,000 a year for the right business or the right individual, and then a lot of them are 800, 500 as well, and the commissions are great. So, which one do you like, Carlos? Life and health or property and casualty?
Well, I've done both. Okay. And I know you've done both.
Yes,
So
over 20 years.
me, me personally, life and health.
Well, let's see. Let's talk about it. Property and casualty, I get level commissions. I get that 200 and some dollars per year every year, but I have to go over that renewal. Life and health, I get $1,000 the first year, and then just saying then. So it's easier to ramp up on life and health.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
There's less service work on life and health, but you have to do more sales work
More sales work.
because you actually have to do the follow up. People aren't just going to shop for you. Auto insurance, when they got that bad rate, they'll shop, they'll shop, they'll shop. So it's a different persona.
On the flip side to that,
Mm-hmm.
you can just resource it. Like, we're licensed. We resource it out, get it a cut, just whatever, 20,
Yeah,
30.
we'll talk about that some other day.
Right.
Just want to give the reality though, because yeah, that's how you do. Yeah, you have the ability to do that, and I'm sure that your organization don't you guys have something like that?
We have access to like a referral fee, and you can just get a little cut, which is
Yeah.
not bad. So that's another
So
topic.
that's another story for another day. Because we ought to debate that, because here's the thing: if some people don't get it. I've seen that before where I referred business to another agency, and they don't get it that I'm no longer their agent.
And they
They
call you
they call me about that stuff anyway. I'm like, hey, you got to call
not
me.
your agent no more.
Right.
Yeah.
You wanted the lowest rate, and I sent you to the guy with the lowest rate, and they still call
Yeah.
me. So service work, that life and health, training is easier, but it's sales work. I give to property and casualty because you can sell property and casualty anywhere. So that's easy to sell. I don't know who I like the best.
Oh, you already know who I like.
I know who you like.
Here's the other thing is that right now, because we're just here in the Dallas area, we can only train because you had here in the Dallas Metroplex area.
Well, I can train somebody on senior products over the internet because they have very structured training that's required by CMS, depending upon the product you sell, very structured training. And then the insurance companies have very structured training for the 65 plus
Right.
uh, health insurance.
So you have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I dropped my pen.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Got it. So, which one do you like? Do you like the sales world of the property of the life and health, or you like the easy sit back, come to me sales world of the property and casualty? Put your comment in the comments below, and who knows, maybe we can maybe we've answered your question. I still think it's a toss up because you know you
Hey,
can have 9 to 5 business with property and casualty.
whatever is your cup of tea,
Truly, that is truly
it's your choice.
if you live in a car dealership, you might be able to sell car insurance. So whatever your cup of tea. So I guess that's all we say. Which one is better? I don't know.
Hey, I also want to I forgot to mention this about the shout out. Give a shout out to the individuals that have subscribed to the channel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's growing
subscribe.
and growing.
I'm like insurance content. Oh man, what are we gonna talk about next?
Tune in.
So tune in to the next time we do a video. Maybe Cecil will be back from his adventures and points beyond, where he climbs on roofs and mountains and in forest fires and all that stuff. Cause isn't he doing forest fire stuff?
Mm, we texted earlier. He's out of town, so I don't think he's doing forest fires.
You don't think he's doing the forest fire stuff? I thought he was. I thought he was adjusting fires. He told me he was going to fire school.
Yeah, he's not repelling.
Main one on rappel. So, all right. So I guess this is the point where we say our last final thoughts. Carlos, any final words before we sign off?
Do your pros and cons. Do your research. Because there's other online schools, and just take it from there. And so if you want to reach out, reach out.
Uh-oh. He's offering to reach out. I'm gonna have to set up a page just for him to reach out. So whether you want to reach out to me, and I'm just completely busy all the time, or whether you want to reach out to Carlos, because Carlos, that's what he does. He's the guy in the community. We love you both the same. And regardless if you're a property and casualty person, you want to sell auto, home, and business insurance, or whether you want to sell life and health insurance and forego all the customer service work in exchange for a little bit of freedom, we like you do just the same as well. Whatever path you choose, that's yours. We just hope you're successful in it. If we can help you out, leave your comments in below. And regardless, if you like this video, like it. If you didn't like it, well, I understand that too. But please subscribe and let us know. What can we do next time? What questions can we answer next time on this video on our Hangout? That was long, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was really long.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time on the Insurance Hangout, and we'll see what we cover.
Peace and love.
Love and peace, guys.